Hello guys, we are here to introduce you about the John Piaget cognitive theory.
Yeah.
Hi guys, let's get to know more about John Piaget. John Piaget was the first psychologist who ever performed a systematic study that relates to the cognitive development. The theory has 4 different stages of mental development. It focuses not only on the understanding how children acquire knowledge but also on understanding the nature of intelligence.
If a child is intelligent, it doesn't mean that, this child is intelligent. Maybe we should use this stage of mental development. It is not about the IQ, but it is on the fundamental concepts like quantity, time, numbers. He was curious how it was made or happened.
Is basically divided into 4 stages. The first stage is the sensory motor. But the question is, what is about and why it is part of the 4 stages? It begins at a birth and lasts until 18 months and 2 years of age. In this stage, the baby understands and know about the 5 senses. Knowledge is limited in these stages because it is based on physical interactions and experiences.
5 senses are sense of touch, sense of sight, sense of taste, sense of smell, and sense of hearing. Object permanence is present on this stage. Infants realize that an object exists after it can no longer be seen. Let's watch this video about permanence.
New babies aren't quite sure what happens to objects when they leave their sight. Sky's mom keeps disappearing and reappearing. No wonder peekaboo is so much fun. During their first year, however, infants will learn an important concept: object permanence. Everything has a life of its own, even if it is out of sight.
At Maya's age, babies know to look for the object, but they might not have everything else straight. 10-month-old Simon is about to make a classic mistake, known as the A not B error. Although he watched us place the toy plane under the white cloth, he'll look for it where he last found it, not where he watched us hide it. If a 1-year-old can't find an object they want right away, they're likely to give up looking.
So that was stage 1. Now let's go to stage 2, the pre-operational stage. It covers age to 3-7 years old, between toddlerhood and early childhood. In this stage, children engage to make believe and can understand and express relationships between the past and the future. More complex concepts, such as cause and effects relationships, have not been learned. Intelligence is egocentric. It means that thinking only oneself without regard for the feelings or desires of others, or shall we say self-centered.
So, guys, let's watch the video here.
According to Jean Piaget, children enter the pre-operational stage of cognitive development during the preschool years. Their thinking changes dramatically in that they now have the capacity to think symbolically, using words or objects to represent something else.
Sarah and Jill dress up and have a tea party. Later, they feed their doll. 4-year-old Jared pretends he is a spy kid and chooses an appropriate costume.
What are you're gonna be?
A spy kid. Mommy, can we go out?
I think you should have dinner with them.
Todd and Jared show further increases in mental representation. They are engaged in what Piaget called symbolic play, clearly imagining that the blocks they are playing with are something else. In this case, a building.
It's a big building? Yeah, we're gonna go in it. I'm gonna put one on.
Despite these increases in cognitive skills, the thought processes of pre-operational children result in characteristic errors in reasoning. One of the most easily observed deficiencies is the tendency to view the world only from one's own perspective, a phenomenon that Piaget termed egocentrism. Because of egocentric thinking, pre-operational children hide by covering their eyes or only parts of their bodies, believing that if they can't see the seeker, then they themselves can't be seen.
Other pre-operational reasoning errors result from thinking that is intuitive rather than logical. For example, preschool children are incapable of conservation. They do not understand that certain properties of objects, such as volume or mass, do not change just because the superficial appearance of the object changes. When given two of Piaget's famous conservation tasks, Olivia, Deborah, Jacob, Christopher, and Jack illustrate this lack of understanding.
Is there the same amount in each one of those glasses? Okay, now I'm going to take this one. I'm going to pour it right in here. Is there the same amount in each glass now?
No.
Which one has more? So this one has
More than this one. I'd say if that one is bigger than and that one's smaller, that one has the most.
Does that look like the same amount of Play-Doh? Each one's the same one? Okay. I'm going to go like this. Wash it down like that. Now, does that look like it's the same amount still? Which one's more?
That one. That one. Yep, this one. This one.
Pre-operational children are not only tied to their perceptions, they are also unable to decenter their thinking or think about more than one aspect of a problem at a time. Their thinking also shows what Piaget called irreversibility. They are unable to reverse or mentally undo an action. The following responses to the question, why do they no longer have the same amount, illustrate these limitations in pre-operational thinking. Deborah, age 3.
Because it's tall.
Christopher, age 4.5.
Because this one's higher than this one.
Jack, age 5.
Because this one's low and this one's tall.
Olivia, age 3.
That one is up, that one is down.
Deborah, age 3.
Because it's squish.
Jacob, age 4.
Because you smush that one down and that one and not that one. That one has the most.
As children move into the concrete operational stage of middle childhood, they are no longer fooled by appearances.
So now, let's have the third stage. The concrete operational period covers ages 7 to 11 years old. In this stage, the child's intellectual development is demonstrated through the use of logical and systematic manipulation of symbols which are related to concrete objects.
It says, if you hit a glass with a hammer, the glass will break.
I knew that.
And then this one says, Dawn hit a glass with a hammer.
I knew that too.
So what happened to the glass?
It broke.
It broke. Why did it break?
Because the hammer's hard.
If you hit a glass with a feather, the glass will break.
No, it won't.
And this is the second rule. Don hit a glass with a feather. What happened to the glass?
Nothing.
Nothing happened? Why didn't anything happen?
Because the feather was soft.
First one says, if you hit a glass with a feather, the glass will break.
Okay.
And the second one, Don hit a glass with a feather. What happened to the glass?
It broke.
And why did it break?
Because the rule says if you hit a glass with a feather, it'll break. So if you hit a glass with a feather, it broke.
The last stage, or the fourth stage, is the formal operation period. It covers age 12 and above, the period from adolescence through adulthood. Adulthood use symbols related to abstract concepts. This is the period where we can think hypothetically, critically, and abstractly.
So how old are you?
So I'm already 18 years old.
Oh, 18. Going to have a chance, or given to have a chance to have a special power, what would it be and why?
I want to be like Flash, because Flash can do super things like cleaning the house so for fast, go to school and then go home.
So guys, those are the 4 stages of John Piaget theory about the cognitive theory.
I hope you enjoy our video. Subscribe and rate us flat 1. Ching ching.
Bye!
Bye!
Thank you!
If a child is intelligent, it doesn't mean that, this
Stage, children engage in make-believe and
Guys, those are the 4 stages of cognitive theory by John Piaget. We hope you enjoy our video. So, bye!
Bye!
Siya pa. One up ako. So guys,